As you guys can see, we are about to try an actual PS4 emulator on our Android devices. Let's get started. Yo, what's up guys, it's Aptrix here. In today's video, we'll be finally testing out an actual real PS4 emulator on our Android devices. Not any fake emulators that other YouTubers test out from Play Store or cloud gaming. Now you might be wondering, how is it actually possible? Well, if you guys have watched this video, then you know that Shared PS4 is an open source PS4 emulator created for PC, and in today's video, we'll be actually trying it out on our Android devices. In the same way like I tried out previous emulators including RPCS3, Xenia, Xemu and lot more, which means that we'll be using an Windows emulator for Android to run the latest Shared PS4 emulator on our Android devices. Well, before getting started, if you guys are new here, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on all notification as I upload similar videos testing emulators on my Android devices. With that being said, let's get started. Alright guys, to start off, the Windows emulator that we'll be using to run Shared PS4 on our Android device is going to be Winlator Android. If you guys don't already know, Shared PS4 is an open source PS4 emulator currently under development capable of emulating games like Bloodborne, Yakuza and lot more, but unfortunately it will never be ported for Android devices as you literally need an RTX GPU to run this emulator. So currently it is only available for Windows, Linux, Mac OS. Anyways, for today's video we'll be using the Shared PS4 emulator version 0.4.0, which has lot of improvements including shader recompiler fixes and lot more. Now we can start using the Winlator Android to test out Shared PS4 emulator. Let me show you guys some of the container settings that I am using. DXVK configuration version is 2.4, and in terms of graphics driver we are using 24.3.08. Once that has been done, we'll simply start our Winlator container. Now if you want to set up this Windows emulator for Android, then you guys can watch the video on the iCard above. Anyways, once we open the Windows emulator, all we'll need to do is launch Shared PS4 emulator. For that we'll just go ahead and open our D directory, then go to Shared PS4 emulators folder. So you'll be able to see Shared PS4 emulator is successfully present on my Android device. I'll simply double tap on this emulator to launch it, and there we go guys. This PS4 emulator has successfully launched and it will ask us to select a directory. So we'll just go ahead and tap on the browse button. Afterwards simply select the user folder and then tap on the open button. And here we go guys, it has been successfully added. So we can now tap on the OK button and wait for the emulator to start. So right here you will be able to see our Shared PS4 emulator has successfully booted. Now that this PS4 emulator has successfully booted, we'll need to import some games to try them out. For that you can simply tap on this file icon. Afterwards simply go to the package option and make sure to import your PS4 games. So we'll be trying out 3 games in our today's video: Sonic Mania, Limbo as well as Stardew Valley. The first game that we'll try to import is going to be Sonic Mania. So I'll simply press the open button. Now you will see a prompt saying game successfully added, and as you guys will be able to see, we have added Limbo as well as Sonic Mania inside of the Shared PS4 emulator. So let me just go ahead and add the last game, which is going to be Stardew Valley. I have actually shifted to the older version of Shared PS4 because in the Shared PS4 version 0.4 I was getting some errors while loading games, whereas on the version which I am currently using, the version 0.2.1, it is actually working properly. As you will be able to see, all my PS4 games have been imported inside of the Shared PS4 emulator, and the cover art is also being loaded, so it means that the games have been successfully imported. The next thing which we can do is tap on the settings option. Afterwards go to graphics and make sure to set the graphics device as your Android device GPU. So I'll select the Turnip Adreno 750. Afterwards you can also change the resolution of the Shared PS4 emulator, enable shader dumping, etc. But I don't recommend you guys to do that. I'll simply tap on the general option and here make sure to enable full screen. Afterwards enable show splash, and everything else you can keep it as default. We'll tap on the apply button and then tap on the save button. Also the controls in Shared PS4 emulator are a bit weird, so you need proper keyboard controls. For that we'll be using the RTS touch controls that have been provided to us inside the Winlator Android. Anyways, what are we waiting for? Let's just go ahead and try out our first game, which is going to be Sonic Mania. As soon as I tapped on the play button, you guys noticed that the emulator literally crashed. So let me just go ahead and restart the emulator and try out Sonic Mania once again. This time we'll simply double tap on the game and see if it works. Nope, it has crashed once again. Anyways, let me just go ahead and restart the Shared PS4 emulator, and this time we'll try out a different game, which is going to be Stardew Valley. I'll simply press the play button and once again it has crashed. So I'm not really sure what might be the issue. I mean, the issue is clear as we are actually using a Wine based Windows emulator to run this PS4 emulator on our Android device. Nonetheless, same goes with Limbo, so unfortunately this version of Shared PS4 doesn't really work on my Android device. Whenever I try to open any game, you will notice that it simply crashes. With that out of the way, let's just go ahead and try out a different version of Shared PS4, which is the version 0.3.0. Now Shared PS4 is not a stable PS4 emulator for PC. It requires a very high-end PC if you even want to try it out. Anyways, as you will be able to see, I have once again imported all of the 3 games that we want to try out. Let's start with Sonic Mania. I'll simply press the play button. And this time, once again, even in this version of Shared PS4 emulator, it has crashed. So there is definitely an incompatibility issues. Unlike the RPCS3 emulator, which actually works, Shared PS4 emulator doesn't work on our Android devices. So yeah, that was the conclusion of our today's test. You can't emulate PS4 games on your Android devices.